Alright guys, if you're coming back to the channel, then this is the third video in the series for you. And if you're jumping right in here and you're kind of lost, go ahead and check out the other two videos before this one, where I go through the unboxing and packaging of the motors, frame, wires, and flight stack in the first video. The second video I go over all the wiring, which as you can see is very little. I tried to run this as clean as possible and keep it as light as possible, and I'm definitely happy about it. I think it came out great. A couple things I want to talk about that I changed real quick. If you did check out the other videos, obviously you know that I did change the standoffs right here, and I did also change the screws when changing these standoffs. These did have M2 standoffs. They came in at, I believe, 19 and 23, so there was a 4mm difference. This frame right here, this 3-inch reverb frame, if you want to go ahead and buy this iFlight 6S Mini F4 V2 stack, this stack fits perfectly in there without changing anything or adjusting anything. Like, you can kind of see right under, it's very tough to see. But right here, these standoffs that I made, you know, like there's a little bit of space right there, there's a little bit of space right here and stuff. This is all like, you know, custom stuff that I pretty much had to do to get this where I wanted to get it. So it's still not done yet. I do have a couple more things that will get changed, but they probably won't get seen until the maiden flight or the next video. I do have some different standoffs coming in. Even though I customized these, I do have a different color coming in. So I did change the standoffs from M2s to M3s. The screws are now M3s, so I had to file out the carbon fiber just a little bit on both sides. Also with that, where is it? It doesn't seem to have a problem fitting everything pretty well in there. It's nice and tight, very clean build. So the other things I wanted to mention were pretty much issues I talked about a little bit in previous videos, but now I can kind of really go over them now that I have everything set up, and we will be jumping into beta flight in just a second, so stay with me on that. So if you have purchased this stack, you should go ahead and check out the second video. I go over the stack settings and how I have it set up with my receiver, because that was a problem. They said to use this port back here, which is a little tough to see, but right there. They say to use that one. That does not work for DSMX, for telemetry anyway, because I do use, you can't see it, it's got heat shrink on it, but this is the Spektrum 4649T telemetry receiver. That does not work right there. That something about this pin just shorts out the ground and the signal, and it continuously puts the receiver in bind mode, which I actually did ask Joshua Bardwell about. He didn't understand it either. He kind of sounded like maybe he thought I was confused. But I mean, I don't expect him to really, you know everything perfectly about this, because he does not use Spektrum. So that was just kind of like a shot in the dark to see if maybe he could give me an idea, which he was very nice about it. I check out all his live streams. I'm always asking questions and stuff like that. So if you guys like, I'll go ahead and I'll try to put his channel down in the description. You guys should check that out if you guys are having any quadcopter problems, because everything I pretty much learned is self-taught and from watching him. So the only reason I'm actually able to fly today is pretty much because of Joshua Bardwell. So that's a big thanks to you, Joshua. So also moving on from this stack, besides for the diagram not working for me, I contacted the company. They sent me another diagram. That didn't work for me. I found one on Google, and that one did work for me. But the way they say to set it up is just run your motor wires, just regular, straight to the ESC on all 4 sides. But as you can see, I have 2 reversed. For some reason, the 4-in-1 ESC, it's a BlHeli 32. You have to go into the suite and you have to reverse 2 motor outputs, because when I actually tested this, yeah, I already tested it. When I tested it, all 4 motors were actually spinning counterclockwise. So I had props on, and obviously I'm watching it to make sure that everything's, you know, handling correctly. You do your pitch, your roll, and you back, and try to do a little yaw on the ground, make sure everything works the way it's supposed to, and it just sat there like a rock. It was just holding itself down. All 4 motors were spinning counterclockwise, so that really didn't help me out. I contacted the company on that. They did tell me I had to use BlHeli Suite, but I'm using a, you can actually see it right here, Toshiba Satellite. This is a 8-year-old computer or so. BlHeli don't work for me on here, and I'm actually pretty lucky that Betaflight works on here. I do need a new computer. So, also, I changed out the dipole antenna. We have the Axii 2. This is the micro version, the MMCX, sorry. I just got another UFO VTX, that's why I said that. This is the MMCX connector. I love these antennas. Even though it looks a little funny, I have bigger batteries coming in today. I have some 4S 75Cs. I love the placement of the antenna because it's gonna keep it away from my build. It's gonna keep it away from the frame. It's gonna keep it away from the battery, and pretty much reduce as much interference as I can. So I don't know how I have a 4S coming. This is only a 3S, so I don't know if I'm gonna have it like that or if it's gonna be like this. But either way, that antenna is getting really, really good clearance right here. Also, my receiver antennas, you're supposed to run these like one horizontal and 1 vertical. If you guys see Schizo, he actually mounts his antennas all like that. That does give you the best range options. That's what they tell you to do. Me personally, it's a small quad. I'm not going to be flying this 5 miles away. Yes, I do have a full-size receiver in here, but I plan on, you know, maybe half a mile. That's about it. I'm not going to be going far with this, so I don't really need to worry about the antennas too much. I also am changing that out today as well. I do have some standoff antenna holders, so those will be possibly in the next video, along with whatever else comes in. So real quick, doesn't seem like I'm gonna have time to jump into Betaflight. This is probably gonna be a 5-part video. So right now we'll just go over some remote settings, I guess. Transmitter turned on, and I do have it set to the correct channel. As you guys can see, I haven't named this model yet. I just have it under multi right now, and I do have quite a few different other models which are all named, but I haven't come up with a name for this one yet. So if you guys think you got a good name for this, this is the 3-inch reverb. It's gonna be a 3 to 4S Caddx Turtle V2 full-size receiver. If you guys think you got a name for this that might kind of tickle my fancy, then go ahead and leave that in the comments below, and maybe I'll slap that on there. I'll mention it in the Made in Flight video. So, things about the transmitter, what needed to get changed. Control and setup, you need 147 over 147 for your throttle, yaw, roll, and pitch. that is to connect and properly work with the Spektrum receiver. If you don't have that set up the right way, then it's not going to work at all. I don't use Expo in my remote. I use Expo in Betaflight actually. I do use mode of curve. Haven't set one up yet, but I usually just put it to the switch F here, and the way I usually have that set up is I'll leave it down, and that will be like kind of smooth, slower style. I'll only have that go up to like 75%, 70%, and then if I flip it up full speed, rip it. So that's just how I usually set up my throttle curve. I don't really use much. I do use a timer, which I do have set to I have it to switch H. I don't run the timer off the throttle only because that doesn't really matter to me. I don't really care about that. As soon as I arm the quad, it's already draining battery, so I just run it right off the arm switch. Telemetry, I do have flight pack milliamps and RX voltage coming in, but I also have the OSD and smart audio hooked up in here, so I don't really read off the remote too much on here. And jump into system settings. I have this under a multi-rotor type for my DX6E. The aircraft type, FPV racer. Flight mode setup, I always just keep it in flight mode too. Channel assigns. If you do want to change channels in here, this is very easy. You go 1 through 6, although in Betaflight you have auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2. For Spektrum, it's gear and auxiliary 1. But anyway, you could just see throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear, auxiliary 1. And if you want to switch one of those, you just check which switches you have set and which one you don't, and switch it to whichever one you want. I only use D, which is my beeper, and flip over after crash mode, run it in normal, and my arm switch. That's all I use. Yeah, other than that, that's about it. So, that's going to wrap up this video. I tried to keep it as short as possible. Let you guys know everything that I kind of had to change and fix before I could get anything working. So now we're going to jump into Betaflight in the next video, try to keep that one short, and hopefully get to a maiden flight sometime soon, because I built this about a week ago and it's rained every day since. So we'll just get these videos thrown out there, yeah, and hopefully get some flight time in. See you in the next one.